Sorry, Stella.
First of all, I want to make sure to know whose home this was. This was the winter home of Charles Austin Buck, B-U-C-K, not B-O-K, not the man who built the tower. There's a picture over here of Mr. Buck. He was a vice president of Bethlehem Steel, and his other homes were in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. He was in his 60s and a widower when this house was built for him in 1932. At that time, this was part of the Mountain Lake Colony, which was and still is a very exclusive gated community. In 1970, Bok Tower Garden purchased the estate from the third family to live here. Now, when you get upstairs in the history room, you can learn more about those three families and the period of time that they were here. The style of the architecture is called Mediterranean Revivalist, which was quite popular in the 1930s in Florida for finer homes, but particularly in this Mountain Lake Colony, where the house architect Charles Waite and the landscape architect William Lyman Phillips had worked together on many of the homes. Now, Phillips, by the way, happened to be the man on the ground for Olmsted Brothers, who had designed all of Bok Tower Gardens. I'm going to point out some things so that you'll recognize that type of architecture. One, of course, is the tiles. The stairway, if you'll notice, there's a different pattern on each stairway. These are representative of the different patterns that you're going to see on the walls like this throughout the first floor. You may take photographs in the house, but if you're going to photograph the stairway, I suggest you do it on the way out when you'll be on that side of the rope and you'll be coming down that stairway. Those are hand-painted, glazed, fired in a kiln, and they're from Tunisia, which is a country in North Africa on the Mediterranean. Now, the tiles on the floor are another matter. These were laid out in the sun to dry before they were fired. If you look closely, you can see the straw in the tiles. Now, pay attention to the patterns of these tiles. Most of the rooms on first floor have these kind of tiles, but there's a different pattern in each room. The doors, like these over here, are made of pine. We used to think that it was cypress, and I think your brochure says cypress, but now we believe it's pine. It's not carved, it's actually molding, like picture molding or baseboard molding, laid up in a pattern on a plain door. As you go, there's one completely hand-carved door in the house. It's a small closet in the round room or reception room. And you may notice it because it looks different than the other rooms. Now, as you go through the house, you'll see no two sets of doors have the same pattern. You will see a star of one kind or another here and there, which makes some people ask if the family was Jewish. They were not. They were actually a Catholic family. This is called the Star of Creation or the Star of Bethlehem. After all, he was from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which is known as the Christmas City. Now, another thing that's typical of Mediterranean doors, they're not always what they seem to be. This looks like it goes into a grand ballroom or something, right? Mm-hmm. But behind door number 1, we have a little powder room. Oh. Notice the short door inside the tall door. The tall door is so that the doors in the hallway match. It's where you start your tour. This takes you into the butler's pantry. We do ask that you don't open doors and drawers or go beyond the ropes as you go through the house. And this young man is going to watch you to make sure you do that. We do have those inside myself throughout the house to answer your questions. So watch your step on this stairway and enjoy your tour.
Thank you.
But I am not the butler.
Okay.
Oh.
Hey, Butler.
I don't offer any food at all.
Oh.
Jeez, let's just leave and come over this place already.
The reason the stairs are so narrow is because Mrs. Keene was the last lady to live here, and she put in an elevator. If you look straight up, you'll see the bottom of the elevator. When you're upstairs, you'll see the rest of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The dishes here are the ones they use. These came from Italy. The ones on the counter came from England. But the most important thing to the Butler was this table right here. This is, you'll never find a heavier, sturdier table, but it has linoleum on it that was the very latest thing in those days. And you can see that it's badly worn. It was also on the floor, but the floor was so much worse that they had to replace it. You can take a look at the kitchen, but the kitchen's been modernized. We have all kinds of events here, so we need a kitchen. The range hood and the table with the pipes for legs are, both of those things are original to the house.
I like that very old scale.
Oh,
How are ya? I like sitting down here because it makes me the same size as the kid. Back in the day, the dishes were all washed in this big sink. Now the sink is made out of Monel. It is a nickel alloy. It's more expensive and stronger than stainless steel. But Mr. Bok liked to have the latest thing. Monel is still used in airplanes and submarines because it's anti-corrosive.
people who have a lot of money apparently.
Well, the dining room has pocket doors that slide back in the walls.
Ooh.
As you look through the door, you can see the moon gate garden. And when you go out the front, why go around the house so that you can enjoy the gardens. They thought the gardens were more important than the house. The furniture around the edge of the room is original. The chairs have been replaced in a similar manner. The screen that you see over there would go across the door to the butler's pantry. That way the server would not have to keep opening and closing the door, and the people here would not have to watch the preparation.
Still do that today. And
Yeah, the fireplace here is made out of Indiana limestone. Most limestone's coarse and porous. This can be polished and carved. As you go through the house, you'll see lots of candle holders. Many of them were made right on the property by hand as they were building the house. If you see these grids, there's one here in many of the rooms, one in the other corner. This one has radiators behind it, and openings so that the air could circulate. He also wanted screens in all the windows. He wanted fresh air. Now, 3 families have lived in the house, and none of them had air conditioning. The air conditioning that you feel today was put in by Bok Tower Garden after it was bought in 1970.
His wife died in 1925. He started construction in 1930. Nothing matches, but it blends. Look at the ceilings. Every ceiling in the house is a different height, a different pattern. The dining room is the only one with the crown molding. This gives you the illusion of a round room. Look at the windowsills. All of the original screens were copper, so they wouldn't rust or corrode. All of the light fixtures that are attached to the ceiling and to the wall are all original, handcrafted. They're all different. In the dining room, you have the 3 candles, but it has a little bit of gold in it. That's the only room that has that. You'll see a light fixture very much like this in his bedroom, but it is a little smaller. Some have 3 bulbs, some have 2. The doors are magnificent. They are all carved, put into a solid door. This is not a Jewish symbol. He was Roman Catholic. We think it is a star bell. Every door in the house has a lock and key. Look at the thickness of this interior door. It's thicker than our exteriors. The hardware is different. Every door is just a tad different. This one's easy. It's on a frame. It's long and narrow. Look at the one in the back.
that's too dark.
It's not too difficult to detect. And also, look at the lock. It's off center. Strange. Did you notice it was there? You would be greeted at the lower hall. You ushered here for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres. This is the only door that is completely carved from a solid piece of wood. He found it in Europe. He sent it here. By the time it got here, all the plans had been drawn for the house. They didn't know what to do with it, so they made a closet.
Okay, yeah.
But The third owner, Mrs. King, painted all the woodwork white throughout the house. Now this is the 60 paint. It had a lot of lead. It's very difficult to remove. And you can see it's gray. You'll see evidence of this upstairs. A lot of the doors are still white. He had a wicked sense of humor. As I said, you were ushered here for cocktails and hors d'oeuvres before being ushered into the music room for the morning, afternoon, or evening entertainment. Look at the floor. Do you see anything unusual about it?
The dining room here is,
Does it look like
So
it's
it's optical
moving?
illusion.
Well, good kind. I was gonna say it looks like it points.
Yes,
lots of different kinds of.
yes.
Don't
You
see
can't
movement.
it? Look, stand on the third step here and look down. Huh? Did you see it, sir? The door kind of
No.
moves.
The furniture is original to the house except the chair.
This is the lower hall. As you were told, this is 1930. If you were chauffeur-driven, had your own car, you would come through the front door that you did because of the circular driveway. If you were a friend who lived nearby, Key Colony, you would come through this door. And again, different hardware. If you stand here and look up, you can see every ceiling is just a tad different. The light fixtures are different. Here we have 2 candles, but the plate is different from there, and they have 3 candles. He didn't like matching. You see how he finished this door? Look at the door going into the morning room and the door going into the garden. They're all different.
Yeah.
There is a crystal chandelier in the morning room. He did not have that wired. He said he had an abundance of sunshine to read the newspaper, have his cigar, and a cup of coffee. The second owner, she put in the crystal chandelier. It would have been entirely too feminine. It doesn't go with the rest of the house. This is the office. The family called it the telephone room. It was the only room in the house with a telephone. Again, look at the window treatment. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. So if the phone rang, they had to run all the way downstairs?
Exactly. Well, the servant.
Okay.
Yes, and again, look at the light fixture. It's different. Look at the door. The door is exquisite. It's entirely different. The hardware is entirely different. If you look a little bit to your left, you'll see a radio. We have wooden floors because the acoustics were terrible.
What was the value of this mansion when it was built?
I don't know the value, but it was $110,000 to build.
And back then, that was a whole lot of money.
A man worked all day for 50 cents or a dollar.
Yeah.
He would work 10 hours, so accumulate that.
Yeah.
That was a very expensive house. The mirror and the candlesticks are French. This is a magnificent chest. It's hand carved. Beautiful pools, the feet. It's just exquisite. You'll be going into the loggia. And Shirley should be around here somewhere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming. Shirley?
Oh, that's the name Shirley. I thought you said Shirley should be around here somewhere. I'm like, it's right here.
I'm here.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the loggia.
Now here's somebody that you're allowed to call Shirley.
Yeah.
It's an old airplane joke. I'm sure you've heard.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Okay,
not.
so loggia means open-ended room. So we have pocket doors on either side.
Nice.
So that's probably why it was named that. This side is the Mediterranean side of the house, so we have our Mediterranean garden on that side. With the frog fountain that his son purchased in Cuba and brought back. On this side, we have the English side of the house, and it slopes down to a man-made pond. Most of the furniture in this room is original to the room, but not all of it. The light fixtures are all handcrafted, they are original. The medallion in the center of the room marks the center of the property from east to west. That's the second fireplace in the room. You'll notice it's different from the first one.
Look at the old radio.
Seems modern to me.
Okay, any questions on this area?
Who's the painting by?
Oh, you would ask that. I really can't remember, but it is original to the house. It's of the
Nice.
Black Sea area.
Cool.
Is that whose dog?
Those aren't original to the house, but he did have dogs.
Oh. This was back in the days when dogs were allowed.
Yeah. Next book.
It says dogs aren't allowed. Does that mean like pets, or does that mean like even service dogs aren't allowed?
Service dogs.
Okay, so it should probably say pets aren't allowed.
Okay. This is the living room.
Huh.
It's a small area, but it's cozy.
Nice.
We entertain small gatherings there. It's the third fireplace in the house. And you'll notice it's different from the other two. When they have their parties, they quite often use that as a seating area in there. This is the music room. These are the original oak floors, the dancing and we also have pocket doors on either side.
Nice.
So they get another nice cross breeze.
Nice.
Notice the floors are different on the porch. Another case of his mixing things up.
Oh, it's an outlet.
Yeah, plug. That piano is over 100 years old, untouched.
I'm gonna see what the brand was.
It's a Steinway,
Okay.
1917 Steinway.
Oh,
And it belonged to Nellie Bok of Bok Towers. And she had a lot to do with getting the house back to its original state after Bok Towers purchased it in 1970. And this is her portrait over the table.
beautiful porch. What was her age when this was purchased by?
That's a good question. She died when she was 84. Bok Towers purchased it in 1970. So she had to have been probably around 40 something.
Oh, so still quite young.
Yeah.
Nice. Indoor firewood storage. Very smart. Oops.
Horse pictures that you see reflect the last private homeowner, and that was the Keene family, and they were horse people from Kentucky. Yeah.
What's the difference between that office and the one downstairs?
Well, this one doesn't have a phone.
Yeah, no phone here. Yes. Well, that was just simply a writing desk
Okay.
there. And the other one was actually his, reflect his interest. And you'll notice it there. Also, the fact that he has the long European style tub, not a shower. Now you'll see showers in all the other bathrooms.
Oh, that's what you couldn't see from over there.
The heat came out. There was no air conditioning. It was all cross ventilation. And
Sorry.
shoe and boot closet
Nice.
What did you call it? A shoe what?
and boot. Because
Oh.
look at the bottom shelf is deep.
Yeah.
How deep is it? Nice hat.
Yes.
Put a feather in your hat.
Put a feather in your cap. Yes. Okay, again, we're going to step through here. Was a guest bedroom. And there was, also, it has the louver door for
Oh,
the cross
are you kidding me?
ventilation coming through. Because there was no air.
Nice.
And we also have, excuse me, I need to.
No, it's okay.
We also have the permanent door for more privacy. The bathroom is all original. The china that you see here is with lead
Oh,
because.
extra flavor.
Yeah, yes, yes. And when we look at the bathroom, which, as I say, they are all original. What is unusual about this is, because nothing's been changed, didn't have the rolled toilet tissue originally. It had just more like Kleenex. So there were little Kleenex pieces that stayed in there, and that's how they pulled them out.
That is the most interesting shower head I think I've ever seen.
Yes, and powerful, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I've never seen it on.
Oh, well, usually they're not in the center. That's pretty cool.
That is true. And they have the handheld
Ooh,
as
even
well.
nicer. Where do I order one?
Yeah, now they are American Standard. Let me see if I can pull this off. This one doesn't have, one of them has American Standard written on the
Oh, okay.
side. But anyway, and the 5-gallon tank.
Wow.
I'm not sure it's 5 gallons, but it seems
It's
that
huge.
It is huge. The last homeowner, the Keens, they were not fond of the dark wood. So the dark wood was painted white. And some of it has been kept that way because that was a part of the history of the house.
But which one was the lead paint? The white?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that and the dishes.
Yeah.
The dishes had lead in them. So don't offer me a glass of water. Wait, now we are at, this is the pivot door for upstairs.
It's a star again.
You saw the pivot doors for downstairs. There will be one more as you exit.
Nice.
Yes. The beautiful hardware. Of course, the screens are all original and they are copper.
Good thing to hold during a thunderstorm, right?
Yes, good point. Now again, you're looking at another guest bedroom. Now, once we go through the arch, now we're going into the family portion of the house. So that would be for grandchildren and children.
So how old are these paintings in here?
How old? Well, they're Audubon, so.
Oh, so they're recent.
No.
No.
No, Audubon was back in the.
Oh, I think I meant Audubon as a society, like actually Audubon himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now, in actuality, this is Mr. Buck with his 2 granddaughters. He had 2 daughters. One of these granddaughters is from each daughter.
huh.
And then this is a picture of Mr. Buck, Lucy, and then these are the 2 sons. It would be Robert, I'm going to have to look on the back here, I'm sorry, and Walter. Yeah. This is the original mirror, and it's also, and no, you stay right there.
Oh.
It's a petticoat mirror,
Oh.
so you can see head to toe.
Yep.
So you know if your skirts are fluffed properly.
Or if my pants are.
Yeah, how's that crease in them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mrs. Keene was having trouble manipulating the stairs, and I know they probably mentioned to you about the elevator. Okay, well, she also is the one that put a phone in her bedroom, and other than that, that was the only time there was a phone other than the office. This bedroom is for the grandchildren, the grandgirls, and their closets were here and down the long wall there, and that was their bath. The call buttons right there. along with the elevator that's in the lock position up, since it became a part of Pinewood or Bok Tower, because of safety reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 2 bedrooms and a bath down the hall. This is where they did the ironing, because the washing was done out by the garage area.
Do they live here too?
The servants?
Yeah.
Well, they did during the time that the Bucks were here, but other than that, there's a very small staff here. But when he was here, it was a full staff.
Must be nice to be that wealthy.
Here. Now we are entering Lucy's bedroom, and she was the youngest daughter of the Bucks. She was Lucy Buck Fox, and it was her grandchildren, her daughters that were in that bedroom. She designed her own room, and as well as the bath. American Standard had never made colored fixtures until she requested elderberry, and that's why we have the elderberry fixtures in there. And again, all original.
But that is, I do like the color scheme in there.
I like the old-timey cleaning products.
Oh yeah. Almond cream.
Oh wait, that's Almond Joy. Nice walk in. Nice view from the bedroom.
Still see on the balcony, the small balcony. This one has a small balcony as well. And again, it's all for ventilation. So this concludes my tour with you. You can exit this way, but please feel free to walk around. Have a good time.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Not a problem. I will too.
Used to have plants up there. Look at this historic spigot.
Got historic water too.
Yes. Made from for the H2O of the forefathers. This is kind of neat. And here's a view from this porch. Nice little patio, fake orange tree.
Okay.
It's a neat little walk-through area here. The windows. Ding dong! Nope, watch the little drop there. This really does make me feel like I'm walking around Uncharted.